Hey folks, I'm Gary McLean, and you are watching Talent Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Just a reminder that if you haven't done so already, please do go to the Talent Talk YouTube channel and subscribe today. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. Just another thought that we're trying something a little new this year, whereas we're actually starting to post a lot of the episodes over the last 4 seasons onto podcast mediums such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, just to name a few. So if you want a full list of where you can check it out podcast wise, check out the YouTube episode description details. And it's all broken out there. And finally, this is live and interactive, as I'm sure most of you are aware. So if you do have any comments or questions as the show goes on, throw them into the comments section and we will make every effort to address them as the show goes on. Now, today's guest, she is a professional singer, songwriter, and ballerina and actress. She's kind of all encompassing, honestly. She's known for her role as Ensign Kemi, helmsman of the newest U.S.S Stargazer in Star Trek Picard, and is also known for her work in My Chemical Romance's short film, A Summoning, where she recreates the iconic role of Helena. She's a very busy LA resident, and I am super excited that she has taken the time to come chat with us today. So please join me in welcoming Adele Pomerenke, which hopefully I didn't butcher that too badly.
Was perfect. As long as you don't say Pomeranian, we're good.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Well, thank you for taking the time out to join us. I know you were actually scheduled for last week, but unfortunately we couldn't do that. So I'm glad you could make it this week.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm excited.
Absolutely. So you know what? As kind of standard procedure for this show, I'll kind of get started off with who are you? Like, where are you from? You know.
Who am I? Where am I from? The big questions in life. I'm
Exactly right.
from, right? So I'm from Washington State, actually. I'm from Central Washington, where it doesn't rain, believe it or not. It's a small town called Yakima, Washington. And I grew up on an old farm out there. I am primarily a film actress now, but most of my career was music and ballet. I did ballet for 28 years. So now, next thing you know, I'm on Star Trek. Yeah, living in LA.
Nice. Yeah, because you started off fairly well. First off, just for folks wondering where Yakima might be, it's sort of in between Spokane, Seattle, and a little bit south.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, so it's
right
kind
there.
of right in the middle there, kind of. So
Hmm.
that's why you don't get any rain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it just goes right over it.
Right. Honestly, where I'm currently living, it's kind of like that. We have this bubble around us. I don't know if that's what it is, but it rains all around us or snows, and then
Yeah.
our section is just dry as a bone. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you actually got started quite young. Like you were like 3, but you have a family history of dancing and such. So um,
That's true.
I think it
Yeah.
was kind of your grandmother who kind of got you started, or
Yeah, this is her right here, actually. If I can.
oh, you know what?
There she is.
let me see if I
Yeah.
can
So
actually.
she
Mm,
she was a
nice.
yeah, so
There
pretty.
we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
So she danced in New York in the 40s and 50s, and she influenced me a lot when I was born. She was like, "Oh, she has dancer feet," and if you are a dancer, you know what that means. It means your feet are nice and kind of have a nice curve to them, so they look good when you point them. And she just kind of encouraged me to dance. She never pressured me, and then I just kind of fell in love with it. And I guess I got the genetics that she had. And so at 3, I started the typical tap, jazz, ballet combo.
And you did most of that like within Yakima, or was
Yeah,
uh,
Yakima, Selah, Washington, just little small town studios, but they have really good dance over there. A lot of people like to dance. There's lots of competition dancing, um, which wasn't my favorite, but it's good for training and performing, especially when you're a kid.
so? What was kind of your first as a child? Like, what was kind of your first show? I guess.
Okay, this is amazing. So, my first show was a tap piece to the Adams Family theme song.
Nice.
And I love the Adams Family. Actually, the Munsters is my favorite show.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if maybe that dance influenced me somehow permanently, but yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. That was the first time I was on stage. was like a little snap, snap and do a little.
Nice. So,
Then,
so you can probably just get up and do it again if you really wanted.
yeah, maybe sometimes
Nice.
I do and I don't tell anybody.
Right? Well, in the privacy of your home, you do what you want. So, if you want to tap dance to the Adams family, then you go for it.
Yeah,
It's all
go for
good.
it. Yeah,
Absolutely. It's your home, right?
that's what it's for.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I won't tell you what I do. So, um, so yeah, that from that point on, where did you basically stayed, I think, in that area up until around 2012ish, or and then you moved
Um,
to Seattle at that point, or
I moved to Seattle in 2009,
oh, okay,
2010. Yeah. And I went and studied dance up there and circus arts, believe it or not. And then that, like studying other forms of dance after just primarily doing ballet, I kind of realized I think I just want to really focus on ballet while I'm young because that's like a very young, like a lot of people retire in their 30s. I keep up on it because I still love it, but I'm not in a company anymore. So I chose ballet, but I did
okay,
learn some cool fabric work and whatnot.
right. Well, so when you say they retire at 30, is that mainly just because is it like hard on the joints, or um,
A plethora of reasons. I feel like at that point we all have some type of minor injury. um, you've done so many ballets. You have PTSD from hearing the Sugar Plum Fairy in the mall. Because you start Nutcracker rehearsals in like August. Um, and people want to have kids and they want to buy homes and not travel around anymore, and that's a good time to start doing that. And when you're in a company, your body takes a toll. It's harder to start a family, it's harder to settle down. You have to be in a studio 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days straight, because you have performances through the weekend. So usually, yeah, 30s is pretty common. Some people keep going and they can juggle the family life and that, which is amazing and so impressive to me.
right? Yeah, no, absolutely. And just out of curiosity, when it comes to rehearsals for these shows that you do, is it much different from theater? Like you spend them for like a couple months leading up to the actual show, where you're just rehearsing 2, 3, 4 days a week, or yeah,
Yeah, it's very much like theater. You rehearse probably more. That's like all your life is you take your class in the morning to get you warmed up, and then you'll have your rehearsals all day, for about, Monday through Friday, and then the performances that weekend or sometimes during the week, and you rehearse before. So it's a lot like theater. Yeah, like
okay.
with athleticism.
Yeah, definitely, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of times theater, we're just going to be or not to be. You, my God, you're like, yeah, I can't even. A lot more. Let's just put it that way. And then you started getting into like trapeze and the fabric dance and such, right?
Yeah.
As well. And that was kind of after you moved to Seattle, or
Yeah, that's why I went there, because there's a circus school there. It was named Sanka Circus School,
okay,
or for new circus arts. But I wanted to study aerial fabric. I humored the idea of Cirque du Soleil for a while, um, but I think dabbling in that made me realize how much I loved ballet more. Um, and it was a lot of fun. I have this thing about just wanting to try everything I possibly can. So
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, I tend
Yeah,
to just go for all the skills I can.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Was it Jack of all, master of none? Why not be master of all as well, right?
Right? That's actually, there's like the whole thing is much longer. It's like jack of all trades, master of none. I don't remember the rest of it, but
Yeah, I do recall there is
it's like
something
a
more
whole
to it.
thing. Yeah, there's something more to it. Man, I
But
was not ready
yeah.
for that.
So what was kind of I guess, your first paid gig then, in terms
My
of
first
dance?
paid gig. Ooh, because that's when you're a professional, right? When they give you money.
Yeah,
Um, it's
yeah.
true. Geez. Man, I just feel like I've been doing it so long, I don't know. I'm sure there were times when I was a teenager that I did a couple little gigs, but I guess the first official paid gig was when I was in my first ballet company.
Okay.
I'll probably just go with that. And that was with Dance Theater of Tennessee when I first moved to Nashville. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it was a little while, not until my early 20s. No.
I thought you were in your early 20s, so yeah, shows you what I know. You're
Just had
right.
a birthday on Tuesday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Geez, I didn't do my research, or I would have known that.
No, I keep it a secret. I do. I keep it a secret. I love celebrating other people's birthdays, but my birthday, I'm just like, shh, don't tell anyone.
Well, we already have a question, although the question is a bit earlier than I anticipated.
Okay.
But you know what? Might as well jump right into it.
Okay, go.
Were you a fan of Star Trek before you even got on the show?
Honestly, no, not a big fan. I didn't dislike it. I had nostalgia for it. My father used to watch it, and he liked the movies, and I would watch those with him. Next Generation was his favorite. My parents really liked Picard when it first came out. I never expected to end up on it when it came back after COVID. Craziest plot twist, but being cast in it, or the possibility of being cast in it, made me interested. And I started watching it, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't know why I wasn't into it before. I think maybe I often blame ballet. It took up a lot of my time. There's a lot of shows I haven't seen that like I'm kind of embarrassed to admit I haven't seen.
But you've seen the
But
Adams Family, so that's all that really matters, right?
that's all that matters. Yeah. I did a dance to it before I saw it. So, maybe if I had done like a Star Trek ballet, I would be like, oh, I guess I need to watch the show.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. I'll have to. Yeah, exactly. I have to do that with your future kids if you have any. Just get them started with all the Star Treks, and I'm actually wearing my controversial shirt today, whereas I'm actually wearing my Star Wars shirt. So
Yeah.
just to cause a bit of conflict and controversy on the show.
There's so many people that are a fan of both on set too, though. There's so many people that are like, we just love space and spaceships and aliens and everything like that. So
Oh, follow up to the question. Star Trek probably ruined his ballet career. And just in case you're not familiar, Chinggez Javeri is actually our co-host. He tends to host some of these shows, so he's just he's having fun.
good for him.
Right? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Again, before we get actually, you know what? Since we're on the topic of Star Trek, we must get right into it.
Yeah.
So when your agent first came to you and said, "Hey, I've got this audition opportunity for Star Trek," what were your thoughts? Like, were you just kind of like, it's just another audition, or were you thinking, "Wow, this is this nostalgic show that's been on for decades, this good big opportunity," or what was kind of in the mind?
Well, when you first get the audition, it's under a working title, so you don't really know what it is. But I was already kind of hinted that it was going to be sent my way, and but I didn't know it was for that show. And then when I read the script, I was like, this is for Star Trek Picard. I can already tell, just the way it was written. It's just the way it was written, And I was like, I was excited about it, but I stay calm with auditions. Like I do this thing after I do an audition where I throw the script in the air to like release it, to like let it go, because there's just so many that you do that you don't get, but they're still a fun experience. And then when the studio got back and said, yeah, we're gonna cast you. Yeah, that was it took a while for it to hit me. Like it would come in waves. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be on Star Trek. And then I would just, then moments later I'd be like, totally forget about it.
Right.
And then it would hit me again. Yeah. So at first I was super excited, but I just tried to stay calm about it.
Right. So where were you when you actually got the call from your agents to say, hey, you got the part?
I was in my hometown with my dog, buying her a new toy in the Tractor Supply.
Perfect place to be.
It's great. And so I like get super excited. My dog kind of like, oh my gosh. And then all these people, in the middle of nowhere, rural America, and they're like, what is with this lady over here? And I'm like, I couldn't pick a toy out. I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
Right. Next thing you know, you're looking for Star Trek toys for the dog, right? It's like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
gotta
right?
get one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, the question was, did you get it off the first audition, or was there multiple auditions you had to do for that, or
It was one. It
it
was
was,
just
eh?
one audition. That's it.
And was it off self tape, or
Yes, because it was still very, very COVID. This is right before they were requiring vaccines for certain productions. Um, so they just didn't really do anything in person. Yeah, this
okay?
is,
So did
this
you
is,
get an opportunity to like sit with the directors or producers or anything before really getting into
yeah,
it, or yeah,
yeah, I did. I got to know Terry Metalis pretty well. I'd say that he's a decent enough friend of mine. And
right,
he he kind of was the one that gave me the opportunity more so than anybody else. Um, and it kind of helped me understand Star Trek more before I even walked on set. Because I mean, he's like the sci-fi buff, like he's the guy that did 12 Monkeys and all that, and he's a showrunner for the Star Trek. And there's
right,
this hashtag out there like Trekkies love Terry. So I got to talk to him quite a bit about it. Um, and then when I was on set, of course, talking to the directors that I got to work with.
right? Well,
Yeah.
and so I seen a couple of photos of your character, I think, because I think you posted them on Instagram.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, I'm also share this now as well. If you want to check her out, check out her IG, Twitter, and TikTok down below here at her ads, and yeah, have a look. And it looks like you go through a fair bit of makeup, I think, for that part, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. I think the earliest call time I had was like 3 a.m.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the actual starting to film time?
Like 7?
So yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
a little bit of time.
Like what people don't realize is that forehead, the prosthetics, those aren't my real eyebrows. They
Right.
remade eyebrows that look like my natural eyebrows to put the prosthetic over and then reattach eyebrows onto me.
Okay. All right. So
That's how they did that. Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna take a little bit of time, I think. Yeah.
Which is so impressive because Bianca was my makeup artist for it. And every time she got it almost perfect. The continuity was like perfect. And she's there at 3 a.m. with me. We're the first ones there, just, you know,
Getting your coffee and just guzzling it as fast as you can. I don't know. Maybe you don't drink coffee, but
I definitely drink. I'm from Washington State. That is
right.
lifelong. Yeah.
So you must have like a Starbucks sponsorship or something, right?
No, I don't care for Starbucks.
Oh,
I
actually,
don't.
I just think it gained actually a whole new level of respect for you, to be honest.
I'm a snob. It's like the McDonald's coffee, like I'll go to it. And, I have a couple friends that have worked at Starbucks before. My sister worked at Starbucks actually at one point. But I was a barista for a long time. That was one of my first jobs. And I made, that's the different flavor when you get like real espresso done right. And there's a lot of coffee stands like that in Washington State. So you get spoiled.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, my daughter
Hmm.
actually works for Starbucks as well, but she's yeah, she's also kind of like she takes her job very seriously.
Yeah,
Her
it's a good
coffee
job.
has to be
It's a
just
good place to work.
right. Yeah, no, for sure it is. She seems to be enjoying it, so yeah. Um, but funny enough, like when she first started there, she drank coffee like crazy, but she doesn't drink coffee now at all. I don't know
I'm sick
why
of
that
it.
is.
I'm sick of it.
Just sick of it. Yeah.
I used to work at Hooters, and then like I don't like chicken very much anymore. Like I really have to be in the mood for chicken now because I worked at Hooters for like, oh my gosh, so long, and now I'm like, just not the smell.
I was gonna ask, is it like does the smell set you off right away, or okay,
Mm-hmm.
fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
understandable. I've been there. I did that with wine when I was much younger. Drank way too much of it, and
Oh
yeah,
God.
it was like 10 years later before I could even stand the smell of it. So,
Yeah, it's like a whole thing, right?
it is absolutely. Um, yeah, so I'm kind of curious if you've put any thought into. I mean, this is totally speculative at this point, but um, you're playing a character that technically could have repercussions of future comic expos having people dress up like you.
Yeah,
Have you thought about that? And what that would be
yeah,
like?
I have.
Have you?
I would love to see that. I mean, um, I've already seen some pretty cool cosplays on like Instagram and TikTok and whatnot. The algorithm kind of pushes it at you once they know, you know. Um, and I want to see what some people do. I know when I did Helena, even though I recreated her, people came back out doing cosplays of her again, and that was a lot of fun to see too. Um, but seeing some cosplays of Kemi, I think I'd be very flattered. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And again, this is more speculative, I guess, but do you foresee that there might be opportunities where you actually do like comic expo panels, things like that for the show?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. And I'm working on trying to get those opportunities with my publicist. So hopefully,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I think it goes without saying, Comic-Con thing,
Oh,
gotta do it. Gotta do it.
absolutely, right. I mean, yeah, I've been to a few. They're always a good time. So, I'm not much of a cosplayer myself, but I love checking out the outfits because man, some of the details that those people put in.
People do crazy, amazing stuff. I have a few friends that are cosplayers, and I'm just like, and just how?
Right?
So fantastic.
I know, like, yeah, I know a few as well. I think I had one on cosplayer on last season, and same thing. It was just the amount of detail that goes in. You just would have no idea that it wasn't a real, you know, gear,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever the case is, right? So yeah, it's amazing. Um, but you know what? We are not here to talk about cosplayers. We're here to talk about you. So let's get back on track. Um, so when to be honest, I kind of failed again in my research here. When is or has Star Trek come out, Picard?
It episode one aired March, not March, wait, March, yes, March 3rd. And then I'm like, March 3rd, and that was the Stargazer episode. That was the first one that Kemi is in. Um, and it's still going. So every week there's a new episode they come out with on Paramount Plus.
On Paramount Plus. That was going to be
Yeah.
my next question,
Yeah.
which I believe right now Paramount Plus is available in Canada, U.S., and Australia.
Mhm.
Is what I believe. So if you're one of those countries or continents, check it out. Um, yes, it'll be fantastic, I'm sure. And so, how many days on set do you think you had in total, or how many hours on average do you think per day on set?
Um, so I was on set for 2 weeks, working 2 weeks. A little bit more for fittings. Hours, I don't know, all day, all day before the
Right,
sun came up, and then got home and it was on its way back down.
especially when you're starting at 3 in the morning, right? I mean,
Yeah, when you're
yeah,
getting just, and I can only imagine the people that get like the full prosthetics
right.
everywhere. Whew, man, it's
So
a
was
lot.
yours limited just to the head and maybe hands a bit, or was it
Just to the forehead up here.
just the forehead? That was really about it.
Like,
Okay,
yeah, that's it. It's the brow and the forehead. It came up probably about here, and then they blended it in.
okay.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
it. Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, it looked more intensive than that. So I was like, okay.
yeah. There's so
Oh,
many details that she put into that. I think she did a fantastic job. I loved it.
yeah, absolutely. And so, do you foresee? Um, you never know with these shows because everything nowadays seems to have uh, like they're announcing second seasons before first season has even started. So
We have prequels and sequels and
right,
everything in between.
yeah, offshoots and everything else. Yeah. Um, right now, do you foresee this having a second season heading your way,
Well, so
or
I'm
or
in the second for Picard. Picard is picture wrapped. So
yes?
all 3 seasons, it's just a 3 season arc.
Oh, okay, okay,
Just to tell his personal little story. I don't know what else is going to go on with the Stargazer. That is a big ship. I've been on that. So I'm kind of excited to see if they decide to do anything else with it and if I get to come back to pilot it again. Who knows?
okay.
I don't know.
That's fair.
I
And
could see that.
yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
It'd be so
Um,
cool.
And honestly, my Star Trek friends are probably just looking at me right now, going, "Wow, you're such an idiot! Why do you not know this information?" But because I'm Star Wars.
I
That's why.
know. They're gonna get you for that too. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of trouble. So we actually didn't even really talk about who your character is, though. Who is Kemi? Can you tell us a little bit? A little bit?
Yes. Ensign Kemi, she is the helmsman of the U.S.S Stargazer. Um, and so basically the pilot. And Ensign is the lowest ranking graduate from Starfleet. So she's very young. This is like these are like the beginnings of her adventures. And Picard is this, the story of like his last chapters. So um, you don't really get to know Kemi a lot in the first episode. She's just there for a minute. She just has, a line with Rios. That's about it. And I don't want to say too much about the first episode in case anybody hasn't seen it. I don't want to spoil anything.
Understood. Yeah.
So you just have to watch and see. There's a whole new bridge crew. So you
Okay.
get to see everybody there and all they're all their different little stations. And I think they did a really good job. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any romantic links in the show at this point for Kemi?
Not for Kemi, no.
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 All right.
Not for Kemi. But you should watch the show. I don't
So
want to say anything
there are
again.
some. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's not Kemi's show, but I mean, she's happy to be there.
Right. Well, that's the offshoot later on. So
Mm-hmm.
next season, the Kemi show. Yeah.
The Kemi show. Yeah, what the heck? It should happen.
Right.
Kemi
Absolutely.
should have a show. Come on.
Well, absolutely. Right. I tend to agree. Um, I do want to go off track a little bit from Star Trek, though. So, like you said, just to recap a little bit as well for the folks watching. Right now, the first episode aired March 3rd on Paramount Plus. Every week, like once a week from that point on. If you haven't already done so, be sure to go to your Paramount. I think they have like I think it's if you haven't signed up with them yet, I think they have like a 1 or 2 week free trial you can check out. So if you want to binge it, wait till the season's over, do it then. But definitely check it out. I do want to talk a little bit about the musical side that you did.
The musical side that I did, yes.
Yes, like I know you kind of made some transition over to Tennessee and Nashville, which of course was also for your dance career. You did some dance there as well, but that's kind of where you I think got started with your music stuff as well. No?
Um, I think that's where I picked it back up.
Okay.
So I got a contract with the ballet company, and that led me to Nashville, because that's kind of how it works. I chose ballet primarily. I got a contract. I got an offer in Hawaii and then an offer in Tennessee. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to Tennessee because Hawaii and it's so expensive to live in Hawaii. So I chose Nashville, and then I went down there and danced Theater Tennessee, and then a couple contemporary things. And I danced at Nashville Ballet. And that's when I got a little bit into music as well. Tried to get like a heavy rock band going, an original band going. At one point, I did a little songwriting. I figured it was Music City. I might as well give it a try. I started music when I was a kid because I was doing the musical theater and stuff.
Right.
And I was also in choir in school, and we did competition choir. So, and back in my hometown before I left, I was in like a classic rock cover band. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So when I went to Nashville, I was busy dancing a lot, but then I started really missing music and singing because I'd done it for so long. And I figured, well, while I'm here, give it a shot. And so I did for a little bit.
What better place to do some music other than Nashville, really, right?
I know. And everyone's a musician. Everybody that does, it doesn't matter what else they do for a career or a job. They also play some instrument to some degree or sing. Nashville has ruined karaoke for me because everywhere you go, everybody can sing and the whole bar sings and they all pick an octave. And it's like this just crazy, beautiful, And then I moved to California and I went out to karaoke and I was like, oh, That's what karaoke is. That's right.
I was gonna say I need to obviously pay a trip to Nashville and just mix things right up with it, with my
It'll ruin it for
hobbies.
you. It'll ruin it for you.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
so you did a few music videos as well, which kind of tied in the whole acting thing, I guess, as well, right?
Yeah, that was the dance to acting transition, getting cast in music videos.
Okay. And what's the process of getting into a music video? Just out of curiosity, like, do you audition for those as well, or do you
Most
just?
things you audition for, yeah, but my process seems to just be really weird. Like there was a point where I didn't have a contract with a ballet company because I was going to go on tour for this live show thing that was going to be like a reality show, and it fell through. And then I was like, and then I couldn't go back to Nashville Ballet because somebody had filled my space, and I was kind of in turmoil at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I was like, well, maybe I will go ahead and try to get an agent so I can do like gigs for like little dance gigs, or maybe get into music videos and stuff like that, or modeling, because I had thought about modeling a little bit before. And I ended up getting an audition for a short film to speak lines.
Okay.
And it was called Hair of the Dog. It was the first acting gig I ever did. And it actually won a bunch of awards. It's really cool. You should go check it out. Hair of the Dog short film. You can watch it on YouTube free, actually. Um, but then the DP for that show offered me a music video. And then I ended up in Frankie Ballard's music video, Cigarette, which got all sorts of press and Rolling Stones top 10 for that year. So for me, it tends to be I'll do a project and somebody's like, hey, got something else that you should should audition for, you should try for. So that's how I ended up doing that music video. Most of the time when I've auditioned for things, I didn't end up getting a lot of things I've auditioned for. Yeah, it's been
Okay.
weird. That's how I got into music videos, was like I would do one and then, oh, I know this person, but that's also very Nashville. Like everybody knows everyone, and you just kind of work within this little network of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of cigarette, you actually segued in there quite nicely because there's, I guess there's some articles or discussion as to that video and the fact that you played the role of a stripper and
Yeah.
um, how like what's your take on doing roles like that where you're practically stripping down to next to nothing and like is
God.
that yeah no I'm just kind of curious.
It was controversial, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think it's controversial because it's Tennessee, and that's fine.
Okay.
Everybody has a different perspective on how life feels comfortable for them. And as long as you're not hurting yourself and not hurting anybody else, it shouldn't be a problem. I found it really fun and liberating. I just really enjoyed myself. They handled it really nicely. It was very professional. I never felt uncomfortable. There was always a robe, and there was women on set, and that can help a lot too. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
for sure.
a beautiful woman surrounded by men that can, for some people that's uncomfortable. For some, it's not. For
Okay.
me, it doesn't bother me at all, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, and I kind of like that when it was controversial. I kind of like, I like poking at things and making
Well,
people, you know,
yeah, it gets people looking, right? Or
yeah,
paying
yeah,
attention, watching.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's country music, and in country music, a lot more conservative people listen to country music, and I think that's why it got that way. But people that aren't conservative also listen to country music, you know?
Yeah, you know what? And I'll be honest, because I did watch the video, and honestly, I didn't see any issues with it. I've seen a lot worse. So,
That outfit
uh,
covers me more than like most of my swimsuits. He was like,
right? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I was just kind of like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
seen worse. It's all good. Not really sure why there's
Same.
controversy, but that's all right.
For
Um,
fun, why not?
but I mean, and also I think because that was like you said, that was Frankie Ballard, and
That's why. Yeah.
it was a bit more rock than I think he normally does. I mean, it definitely still had a little bit of a country sound to it, but I felt it was more rockish So
Yeah, it was. It was a little more rock, which I liked a lot. I like more of the rock country or the old school cowboy country. Those two are probably the types of country music I like the most.
okay. And
Yeah,
going back to when you had your band, you said that was kind of a heavy rock that you were trying to do with the band.
very, very almost
Um,
borderline metal. Yeah, yeah.
okay,
That's the kind of music I like to do. Yeah.
all right. And is that what you like to listen to as well, or
Yes.
yeah?
Well, I listen to everything, but yes.
All
Yeah.
right. So what were some of your top bands from different genres?
In metal,
From different
in different
genres, like
countries.
country or metal or pop or whatever. If you have any pop songs going.
Sure. Top artists. We'll go through some genres. Metal, there's a lot. So I'll just go with what I'm listening to lately. I'm back on like Slipknot. I've gone back to my early 2000s roots. Been listening to a lot of Corey Taylor. I've been listening to like Alien Weaponry. They're super cool. They're Norwegian. Um, and then also I've been listening to more of like Pantera,
Okay.
so the classic metal stuff. And then other stuff, I like Fleetwood Mac a lot. I like classic rock. I like Boston. I like my psychedelic rock as well. So like Jefferson Airplane or Jefferson Starship. Newer stuff. I don't listen to a lot of newer stuff, but I like The Weeknd a lot. He's got good sound. Or Anderson Paak.
Okay.
He's super good. I like him a lot. And also symphony. I've been listening to a lot of Brahms.
Nice. All right.
It's just like everything,
Yeah.
all over the
Yeah.
board,
Well,
whatever.
then there's
And
nothing wrong with that.
country, Buck Owens, Willie
Oh,
Nelson. Yeah,
yeah, the classics. Yeah, yeah.
classics. Yeah,
Kenny Rogers, is he in there?
yeah. Of course,
Okay.
he's welcome. He's invited. Yeah,
Right. Why not? Right.
why not? Yeah.
Uh, yeah. I always find that interesting because for example, I look at you. You're probably looking at me, and I find it hard to judge what kind of music people they are. Right. Like looking at you, I never would have guessed you're kind of heavy rock. Right.
Right.
I
Yeah.
would have guessed classical, and maybe that's because I've got ballerina in my head.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right. So there's that, and then I would have maybe thought country was the other one I was thinking. Like myself, I'm more heavy rock as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
I
when you do
don't
ballet, you got to have that balance. You know.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, you gotta yeah be eclectic. I guess is the term. Um, no, that's amazing. And actually, when you were also in another film with Kevin Sorbo.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
what was the other gentleman's name? James Russo.
Yeah.
Um, what's the name of that film? I got it
The
written.
Penitent Thief.
Yes, that's the one. Penitent Thief. Um, that was kind of your first major feature role, though, right? Or
Um, I think Hair of the Dog was more so.
that was short, though, right? Or was that
Yeah, but full length feature was with my lines, yeah, was The Penitent Thief. And that was a faith-based film.
okay?
Yeah, but that was the first time I was living in Nashville and I flew to LA to do a movie and then I was like, I should probably maybe move out here.
Gotcha.
And here's your sign, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And what was your role within that film?
I played Herodias, which is I played Herod's wife, and she was evil.
Right.
So yeah, she was just up to no good, which is fun. I like playing the bad guys. They're more fun.
And you just answered my next question. I was like, do you have a specific kind of role you like to play? So,
I like the conflicting characters, like not necessarily a villain, but definitely has some issues. I like depth, you know. I don't really get the girl next door very often.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm a little surprised. I thought you would have been more girl next door, but
No, no. No,
that's all
I
right.
come across a little more rough around the edges when I'm on camera, I guess. And I think people just like to have an excuse to have me smoke a cigarette because I make it look cool.
I did notice that on that music video. So,
Thanks.
yeah.
There's so many things I've been in where I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm like, okay. That's why I was like, oh, Star Trek is great because I'm a good guy and I'm not smoking. And 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 all my clothes are on. It was great. Like it's just
Yeah, just total flip of what you're used to. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so, and you don't have to necessarily answer this, but like, do you smoke generally, or is that just kind of an acting thing?
It's just an acting thing. But when I do smoke on set, I would prefer if all the crew and everyone's okay with it, I would prefer smoking a real cigarette because the prop cigarettes are horrible and they hurt my head so bad. And I did smoke cigarettes for like 10 years. I was a troublemaker kid. Like I was the skater kid and the partier and all that. And I smoked when I was like 12, 13 for a long time. And then I just got tired of doing it and just stopped smoking and I'm not into it really at all anymore. But at least now I know how to do it so I can look cool when I do it when I'm acting.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
See, it was just all part of the build up for your acting career. That's all that was.
Yeah, it was the method acting.
Yeah.
Too many years of method acting, but
And speaking of, do you consider yourself a method actor, or you consider yourself something different? Or
I think it depends on the role because there's certain roles that I'll get where I can pull from a place that I've been and apply it very easily. And then there's moments where I'll get a role where I don't know enough about this and I need to go feel what this feels like. So I do like the method acting. Um, I always tend to lean back onto it because it feels more natural. Um, and then I study a lot. I definitely study what it would be like in real life. Make it real, make it truth. So I'm probably more of a method actor than anything else. But then again, depends on the role. I couldn't really method act Kemi, you know. I guess I could have tried to call like SpaceX or something like, hey, can you do me a favor?
right?
But
You give me a bit of research knowledge on this. Yeah, that'd be great. Um, well, okay. For example, and uh, let's say you get a role for a heroin addict.
I'm not going to do heroin. That's
Okay.
the clue.
All right. Yeah.
No.
I
But I'm
was just
going
wondering how
to,
method you would go there.
right. But I've known people, unfortunately, that I have lost to it.
Oh,
So that's a moment where I could pull from experience. And I would probably do some research on it, probably watch some uncomfortable videos for some on like what happens when somebody's, going through withdrawal or coming down off of it, um, to understand it better and to create empathy for it because I'm very empathetic. And when you can find empathy for a character, for me, I find it easier for me to portray that back and to
right.
reflect it, kind of like a mirror.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had this conversation with a few different people when it comes to empathy and being a person with empathy as an actor and the necessity to kind of have that, uh,
Hmm.
which I believe you do, and I feel that's why I'm not as successful as an actor as I probably should be. Is I'm just not empathetic enough.
That's fair. It's exhausting to be empathetic. It's exhausting. It
Oh,
is. It's very tiring.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I am to a certain degree, but there are times where I do struggle to like pull from it and bring it forth. Whereas I know some of my colleagues, like on the drop of a hat, right? It's there, it's bubbling at the surface, and I have
Yeah.
nothing but respect for that because I think that turning this into a psychology session here, um, I think that
Well,
goes
I
back
mean,
to
is it
right,
performing though? Like it can be, yeah.
right. Well, because I was always brought up, especially by my dad, to kind of keep those down, right? Suppress those things, right?
Yeah.
Like be a man kind of deal, right?
Oh yeah.
That whole
Yeah.
toxic masculinity kind of thing.
Well, and there's women that are like that too. Like some of the women in my family, like you're in charge of your emotions, get a hold of them instead of like feeling them. It's
Right.
very, that's still there for women too. At least my upbringing.
Yeah, no, and that's absolutely fair, right? So I think for some folks, it's more difficult to get past all that crap to get to there to
Yeah.
bring it up.
Yeah.
Uh, but I can also see how that would be very exhausting if it's right at the surface all the time.
And you just go to the grocery store and it's just too much sometimes. It's just all the people. Or you're in traffic and somebody cuts you off, and I wish I could just be mad at them and see them as a stupid car, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they're pregnant. Maybe they're on their way to the hospital. Maybe I don't know what they're going through. Maybe they're having a bad day. When that's just exhausting. I just sometimes am jealous of people that can be like, that person's a jerk.
Right. Flip them
That
the
sounds
bird and
so
move
much
along.
easier.
Yeah, and sometimes that's who I am, right? I flip them the bird. I'm like, you're a loser. Get out of my way. All right, moving on.
I'll feel bad about it later. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, damn it, Adele.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah. You know what? We are, my goodness, 45 minutes into the show. Generally, I tell guests that we're a 30-minute show, but we always go over. So thank you for
So
indulging.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, there are couple people watching, and obviously we've had a few questions from one folks. But I do want to remind you that if you do have any questions or comments, throw it in there. We will be wrapping up in a few minutes here, so get those questions going if you need to now. But I do wanted to ask you a couple quick more, I guess, final questions in a way. What's next for Adele?
Well, I've had a couple offers for a couple different films and shows, which I can't really speak on yet. So I'm excited to see if those work out. I have been focusing on my dance mix series that I had created. Um, it's kind of like a series of different, um, just kind of dance videos. If you want to check them out, they're on all my social media. The third one I'm going to do is me as the dancer one more time. And then after that, I think I'll hire other dancers to do them. So I might focus on that. And Star Trek is still going. So I just got more interviews and more promoting that because Kemi's not done with that ship yet. So
And
that's
hopefully won't be for a while.
yeah, yeah, probably not for a while. Yeah, she's going to be in space for a while, probably. Um, yeah, I am excited to see where these other opportunities go, though.
Oh, absolutely, right. Do you feel that, or I guess hope in a way, that Kemi will be kind of that springboard into a higher level of success within the industry? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
thank you. Thank you.
um, and for fun, are you
Okay,
cat or dog person?
dog,
Dog.
dog person.
And your reason for dog?
Well, a real dog, so it has to be over 40 pounds.
Okay, yeah,
It's not that I don't like smaller dogs. I just think we labeled them the wrong species. I think they're not dogs. I don't know what they are. Um, we can keep them though. They're cute. I like them, but personally, I like to own big dogs. And why am I a big dog person? I don't know, because we just get along better. They listen to me. Something in my house that doesn't listen to me. I don't know. I have a hard enough time taking care of myself. I need
right.
something else that can kind of think for itself. I mean, I guess a cat can, but
Well, they're the ones that are, well, they're mischievous, right? So
yes.
you've always got to keep your eye on them, make sure that they're like a toddler in a way. It's like, oh,
Mm,
why do you keep knocking stuff off the counter?
mm.
How
And
many
big
times do I have
dogs
to
are
tell
nice.
you?
I know, and they have so much energy out of nowhere, at horrible hours. And big dogs are nice because they're just so big. They just sleep so much. Once they're out of the puppy stage, they just want to sleep on you. That's it. They just want to eat and they want to sleep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Perfect.
I'm kind of the same way. We actually have two dogs. We have a little Jack Russell, which is like 15 pounds, and then we have
Oh yeah.
Black Lab, which is around that 40-pound mark.
Jack Russells are fun though. They're fun.
This one, not so much. Um,
Okay, it's your dog though, so you can say that.
well, we had another Jack Russell a few years back that was definitely a different personality compared to this one. I'm not a
Mm.
big fan of this dog's personality, um, but the family loves it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the lab is more my style, where she's just kind of mellow and
Labs are cool. Labs are
chills
cool.
out, and yeah, like you said, eats, sleeps. And
That's it.
that's
Yeah.
about it. Yeah,
That's it.
wants to be wants to constantly be touching you in some way, though, right? Put a paw on your foot or whatever, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Can handle
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that we've killed 5 minutes on dogs, um, I always find that an interesting question though, because I had another guest that asked that question too, and it was almost um, I don't know how you want to say it. Like it was just so reactionary. It was like, dogs, dogs.
Just like
It was
I've had a
almost,
bad experience with other things. I've had a bad
no other
experience
animal.
with cats,
Yeah.
dogs, just dogs. Like
It's like,
fear
okay.
that somebody's gonna deliver a cat to this person, and
Yeah. Right. Totally. Absolutely.
oh god.
Well, Adele, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and making this such a fun interview. Congrats on Kemi. I hope this does help launch your career. And for the folks again watching, be sure to check it out. Paramount Plus. It started March 3rd and is showing every week from that point on. So get on there, check it out. I know I will be. And we'll see you all next week for our next guest. So hop on then. Same. Well, sorry, 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time next week. Thank you, Kemi, and everybody have a
Yeah,
great weekend.
thank you.
And I'm hoping it stops going live any time now. That would be lovely. I don't know if it's just, oh well. Oh, having troubles connecting. No, I said end broadcast. There we go. Hopefully this isn't all being recorded, but we'll find out later, I
You know what?
guess.
Why not?
Check
Who
it out.
cares? Whatever.
Yeah. See? Yeah. Shingaze is like, you're still live. All right. Let's try this again. Still live. All right. Why is this not ending? I have some editing to do. That's what I can tell you about this episode. It just refuses to go live or stop going live.
What if I leave and then come back? That's too much work.
All right. One more time. All right. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to give you my post-show stuff live because that's apparently what this program wants us to do. So
let's do it.
All right. Okay. So for the folks watching, you'll get to see what I discuss after the show. So what I do afterwards is when I actually do get to leave going live, is I record a copy of this, or I download a copy of this, hard copy, which I'll throw into like a Google Drive for you if you like. You have access to it, and you can take it and do whatever you like with it after the fact. I'll probably follow up with an email within a couple days, just saying, hey, this is a few links. Yeah, I know, right, Chingaze? I know. Behind the scenes stuff is what's happening right now. So,
it's just amazing. So
right.
Amazing.
It's rare insight, is what this is. People should be marking this on their calendars. Yeah. So anyway, I'll send you a link within a couple days with some information, and you can do whatever you like with it at that point. Hopefully this interview is good for you, which you don't need to answer honestly right now. You can send me a message later. Since we're live still and all that. But no, again, thanks for being on the show, and I'm going to let you enjoy your weekend and figure out why this won't stop airing live.
This is great, though. Don't ever get rid of this part of it, though. Just keep it. It's fun.
I think I should, honestly. I think they'll be great for, it's like live bloopers is what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fantastic. So, yeah, have a great weekend. Thanks again. And good luck, honestly.
Yes, and thank you. All right.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.